We're going to start off by approval of today's agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve.
All right, second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Next, we're going to move forward with the approval of the meeting minutes from our June 15th, 2022 meeting. Do I have a motion for that?
Motion for approval.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. All right, let's move forward with introductions for everyone here. Ms. Howard, you want to start and kind of go along?
I'm Alice Howard, District 4, County Council.
Ian Beside, UK Public Works Director. John Spencer, Senior Admin for Stormwater.
Ms. Carolyn?
Carolyn Wallace, the Water Basin Thing.
Yep.
Ellenster Canal Clemson Extension.
I'm Julianne Corbett, Environmental Engineer.
Katie Herrera, Stormwater Manager.
Ingram Nickel, USCB Water Quality.
Jacob Terry, Helena.
Bill Barr, Town of Bluffton.
Ron Buchanan, District 8 Stormwater.
Ed Warner, Member at Large.
Van Willis, Town of Port Royal.
Dennis Ross at large.
And I'm Patrick Mitchell, representing Ladies Island, Vice Chair. I'm standing in today for Mr. Feinberg, our chairman, who will be back in October. So moving forward, I also want to introduce 3 new board members we have today. Mr. Ron Buchanan, Dennis Ross, and Ed Warner. They're 3 members that just are starting with us, and they all bring a wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure they'll be great contributors to the board. So thank you all for joining us. And moving on, is there any public comment for today? All right, no public comment, and I guess we're going to move on to reports with Ms. Herrera.
Hello. I think mine's on. Let me grab some swag real fast. If it'll stay. There we go. All right. Okay, this one's not going to stay. So we'll jump right into the utility update for you all. To start with the Soloco regionalization efforts, we are going to be meeting tomorrow with the Soloco Technical Subcommittee. This came at the request of the Town of Bluffton and Beaufort County staff regarding what's working with the manual and what's not. So there's some amendments that they both would like to see implemented. Because of the regionalization effort, we feel it's important to have the technical subcommittee participate in the review of our proposed changes. So that meeting will be held again tomorrow afternoon. The plan with any proposed approvals is then to take it to the development community for their input and comment and discussion. We anticipate that meeting being held in mid-September, and will from there be coming to you all for approvals. At the latest, we want to have the amended Soloco manual completed and implemented would be in March of 2023. So just to give you a heads up, there's a couple things we're planning on changing and making better, not only for our staff implementing it, but also the development community as well. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. Because of our efforts on the Soloco manual and the regionalization effort, the county applied for the Barrett Larimore Regional Cooperation Award back in April. And in late June, we were notified that we were selected as the winners. Unfortunately, I had to keep this a secret from you all and most everybody else. And on August 3rd, we participated in the banquet celebration where Beaufort County was honored, along with Jasper County, Town of Port Royal, Town of Bluffton, City of Hardyville, City of Beaufort, for our efforts on the Soloco manual. So they hand me this weapon, award. You feel free to come up and feel this thing. It's quite heavy, but we felt really honored. It was probably a room full of 500 people represented by the South Carolina Association of Counties. I should have led with that. They host that award ceremony, and Beaufort County won. So we feel really excited to be recognized for the efforts that we completed. They had a lot of very positive things to say about this group and our effort. So again, thanks to you all for having the foresight to approve this and continue to support us in our efforts. So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Represent the board.
thank you. Oh. And this is just the participation trophy that kind of everybody got, but I thought it was important to present as well. I'm gonna put these down. All right. So we are still kind of on this whirlwind presentation for our efforts with the Soloco manual. As you know, we've presented several times at different conferences. Juliana and I will be presenting at the National StormCon conference in late September for our efforts with the Soloco manual. We'll also be presenting, Kim Jones and I, at the Southeast Stormwater Association conference about how the implementation actually worked inside both of our organizations. And then we'll also be presenting at the Bureau of Water conference in mid-October. So lots of presentations. I think after that, everyone in the United States will know about the Soloco manual, which is a good thing. Upcoming special presentations, I just want to point out one, the next October meeting, we are going to be meeting on site at the Evergreen Regional Pond. This will be a great way for us to showcase our newest stormwater BMP and also provide some of the requirements for that grant to have an open house with the public. So we look forward to being outdoors. October 17th should probably be fairly mild, but we'll make sure we have everything set up so that it's as comfortable as possible. We probably will not do a traditional presentation like we do here, but we'll have something for you all when we get to that point. We still continue to work with the delinquent accounts. Right now, I'm just waiting on the signed IGA amendment back from the city of Beaufort. Yep. I received my copy from the town of Port Royal. Thank you, Van. And just a reminder to everyone that the annual financial reports are to be provided to us no later than September 30th. The county also, as part of that amended IGA for the utility, we have agreed to provide annual reports for our countywide infrastructure fee and how that was utilized. So those reports are due by September 1st. I should have the first draft by the end of this week from our infrastructure team. So hopefully we can actually get those reports out to you all a little bit earlier. Moving on to the monitoring update. We continue to implement our efforts in Q3. We had a lot of rain last quarter, which helped us get our monitoring done very quickly. And the only thing that we're planning on updating is additional monitoring at the Arthur Horn Park. As you know, and you'll hear more about this from Juliana, we're working to implement a revitalized BMP in that location. And so we want to get pre-construction, during construction, and post-construction monitoring information. So that should be starting here soon. And for the Stormwater Implementation Committee, we don't have any updates at this time. I will say we continue to coordinate on a variety of other things. The contract for Clemson and USCB, and those IGAs and MOUs have been approved, and there'll be more on some other projects later. And that's it.
All right, so stormwater related projects. Ms. Corbin?
Yes. Good afternoon. For stormwater-related projects, we were able to issue the notice to proceed to J. Bragg Consulting for the design, engineering, and permitting parts of the Shell Point Drainage Improvement Project on August 1st. We met with them for a soft kickoff meeting on August 9th and have hit the ground running with them since then with branding and marketing while they get their subcontractors under contract. So we have a task force meeting scheduled for August 23rd, which I guess is next week. And then we meet with DOT on September 6th to start discussing an IGA. And that meeting with DOT will be with their state representatives, so we look forward to that. Legal is working on the Factory Creek Watershed Regional Detention Basin as we move forward with the litigation action. The Tuxedo Park pond dredging bid closed on July 18th with 2 bids. This ended up similar to last time in the fact that the bids that we received were way over what we had budgeted based on the initial estimate received. And so after collecting some more estimates and doing some further digging on that, we decided that the best thing to do and the best use of stormwater utility funds would be to budget appropriately in the next fiscal year so that we can have this done turnkey and be satisfied with the final product. The Huspa Court North bid closed on July 22nd with no bids. So I think that's going to be a good thing in the fact that it's prompted us to work on a request for qualifications for contractors that we can have basically on call to do projects under $300,000. And so this is a project that we want to fall under that scope. Similarly to that, Bessie's Lane closes tomorrow for bid, and the scope of this is nearly the exact same as Huspa Court. Based on the pre-bid meeting that was held 2 weeks ago, I expect this to end up the same way, and so we also want that to fall under this RFQ contract.
Is that RFQ been released yet?
Not yet.
Not yet, you work.
No, sir. The Arthur Horn Park, Katie mentioned this, but we continue to work with the state conservation engineer and also their, their subcontractor for doing this Ms4 report. We have been in contact with them a lot. They've done a lot of digging on this project, and we expect the draft Ms4 next week, August 22nd, with the final report to follow in mid-September. In this, we quickly realized that we were thinking too small and needed to go bigger across the Huck 10. And so we've proposed 8 different projects that total $14.2 million. And some of these projects are ones that were previously cut from the capital improvement list due to funding. And so this could be an avenue to have those accomplished. Just as a side note, we found out a few weeks ago that this project was not selected for 319 funding that Beaufort helped us work on. Now we're going to move to professional contracts, unless there are any questions about these items. Did I skip it? No, we're good. Okay. The Brewer Memorial Project wrapped up in mid to late July, and so we've started the closeout process there. We lack about 5 plants that are not able to be found that were in the landscape plan, so we're working with the landscape architect to find a substitute for those, but also closing out the project and getting the right inspections done there. We have educational signage, thanks to Alan, and are getting that installed soon. The Evergreen Pond, which is on the screen here shortly, was completed on August 1st, and so we're excited to have that in completion. Arthur O'Kelly and I walked shortly after and came up with a punch list, and the contractor has notified us that that has been completed, but I have yet to verify that. So we are also closing that one out and are excited to have that done and have you all there in October. John, can we see the picture of Evergreen? Nope, the other one. Yes. This was a picture when they were installing the pipe that would connect the junction box that you see there to the pond. I was really glad that I went out there that day. Did not know that I was going in on that, but it was neat to see those utilities and just how big everything is underground. So excited that that is done and functioning. So now moving on to our contracts and scopes with Beaufort. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'd like to highlight number 5, which we also have some cool pictures of. We've talked to you all about replacing the trash rack on this pond, and so there she is. The picture on the left was earlier, and then the picture on the right is after some heavy rain. And it's nice to see the trash rack functioning here, but I also think it's cool to see how the forebay is doing its job and letting that sediment settle out, and then the pond can finish that job. But I really like those pictures. And glad to see that that is functioning, and we'll continue to monitor that. I also learned from Katie earlier today that Palmetto Pride is going to give us a water goat for this forebay, which should also help reduce the trash that reaches the pond or the emergency spillway in that case. Moving down to scope number 8, we received the final report draft on June 30th and then gave a few comments and now have the final report and some appendices there for St. Helena. Moving to scope 10, Beaufort has started phase 2 to build the hydraulic and hydrologic model based on the GIS data that they took earlier in the spring for Northern Ladies Island. We got that GIS data back and our GIS department put it in a map. And Katie and I will sit down soon to look at that and compare it to the GIS data that we had before. And then we've also worked with Beaufort on some capital improvement projects. One thing that we've done here lately is met with the inspector who's taken on a lot of the monitoring responsibilities, and we've compared that water quality data with capital improvement projects that we could do. And so part of that is realizing that we could make water quality retrofits in the mint farm and rivers and communities to hopefully make a positive impact in the water quality there. So that's on Beaufort's radar as well as ours, but we don't have a formal scope for that yet. So that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the board for now? No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to regional coordination with Ms. Herrera.
Yeah, so like Juliana mentioned, we are continuing to work with NRCS. When we were thinking the Arthur Horn Park, they forced us to think a lot bigger than that, which has been a good thing. We are hoping to incorporate water quality projects for the improvement of shellfish harvesting in our area by also getting funding for several City of Beaufort projects. So we've got a couple different initiatives that we're hoping they deem us suitable to receive funding for. That draft will be done August 22nd, and then the final report should be done by September 14th. So we look forward to hearing what the big brains at a Terra Schnabel up in Massachusetts have to say about Battery Creek and our watershed. The other thing that we're coordinating on is the downtown drainage study that has been completed by Davis and Floyd. The proposed project list has been submitted to city staff, county staff, the DOT staff as well. Right now, they're in the funding phase. There are several funding opportunities coming down the line from the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And so between several, again, pools of money, they're trying to find funding for all this. They had a utility coordination meeting about 2 weeks ago, had the gas, electricity, water, sewer companies come in to talk about the proposed improvements and what people wanted to see out of the project. And so that went very well. And we look forward to starting Davis and Floyd getting into that design phase. So going into municipal reports, I will open the floor to my colleagues. Jacob, anything to provide?
No updates right now. We did have a migration of our software that contains all of our planning, design, development, and everything like that over to the cloud. It has been a nightmare. Nothing has integrated like I like it to have done, but they're working out the kinks currently. That's about it. How I built it.
Bill?
Well, I like to say that we've been awarded a 319 grant for our Pritchett Street streetscape and rain garden tree well retrofit. So we're excited about that, which kind of goes into the next study we have is the Old Town Drainage Study that Jay Bragg is currently doing with us. So we're in the process of collecting all of our infrastructure, reprocessing our infrastructure to make sure we got what we say we have, and do a flow analysis on it. Beth Lewis, our water quality person, has been working with another consultant to do flow, continuous flow for the area. So this is all to be put into a model that we'll be able to do a drainage study with. We also installed tidal gauges at the Calhoun Street docks so we can monitor king tides and hopefully catch a storm event or two in there. So we're excited about that, putting that all into a model that we can then take and move up the watershed, to the May River watershed, to the other sub-basins to finally finish that up. It's been a long, ongoing project. That's all I have.
Van?
A couple things, I guess. We're actually meeting with the South Carolina Park System Friday morning at the amphitheater at Cypress Wetlands. They are contemplating construction of a new park there, became very aware of the Cypress Wetlands and are very interested in maybe trying to replicate something like that somewhere in the state. So that's pretty exciting. We just finalized a general obligation borrowing, which will include a significant amount of stormwater work. Obviously, we're hoping to kind of leverage against the $900 million that the state has set aside as part of their ARPA funds that's being managed by Rural Infrastructure for potential projects. And I assume y'all are probably doing the same thing. So that's about it.
Well, the MS4's in the room. We got our DHEC annual fee bills, except we got them with a late fee tacked on. So I had to give a polite call to the top folks at DHEC to make sure that we weren't responsible for paying the late fee because we never got the first bill. So thankfully that has been resolved and we're working to get that paid. So moving into the MS4 report. Again, another very busy month for our inspection staff, for our plan review staff. We continue to push the limit of the amount of work that we can handle and take on in a month. As far as permits are concerned, we continue to see numerous amounts of permits. I think this month was 70 permits issued for stormwater. So we've got a ton of work still going on in our area, and I'm sure the other municipalities can agree with that information. As far as inspections go, our inspection staff continue to stay very busy with all of the different projects that we have currently going on in the community. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Ellen for our educational report.
All right, good afternoon. June stayed busy with the Flooding 411 program every week, and that was well attended, and I was happy to do it. But July brought us to the secondary festival season, so we were at Waterfest during the nonprofit organization day. We talked to roughly about 75 persons there, give away a bunch of different merchandise. I will say that our pet waste supplies go fast. People really enjoy them, and we were really successful in getting them to sign the pet waste pledge. However, we actually had some really great conversations around our smokeless ashtrays and our fats, oils, and grease lids. A lot of people thought the fats, oils, and grease lids were dog food containers, so that was a great intro, saying like, no, they're for your kitchen, not for your dog. So that was great, but we also did the Keep Broad Creek Clean Festival, and Jacob was actually tabling there with me. That was a great time. We actually had a lot of local folks right at that festival, so it was great to be there. But also July was very busy with client and house calls. Apparently it was the month for river buffers and stormwater pond buffers, and this is not, hard data, but anecdotally, I'm finally getting more calls about people wanting to plant things there than mow it down, in terms of asking, what should we plant there? What should we put there to keep water quality there? What should we put there to make sure that the bank doesn't erode? So I'm very pleased with that, and I got to go out and give plant recommendations left, right, and center. August is definitely a slower month. I did start the month off with yet another Adopt a Stream training that is going very, very strong. Essentially, the minute we put it up there, that training is full, and we're actually getting our first round of volunteers coming back a year later for recertification. So the program is staying around, and that's excellent. But this month I'm focusing more on finishing up creating some septic system information sheets and packets, getting a couple posters ready for spring conferences and things of that nature before diving into September, where it's back to festivals with River Sweep, as well as trying to do the Healthy Pond series once more. So, all right, thank you.
We will also be partnering with Ellen for our grand opening of Brewer Memorial Park. As many of you know, that park is intended to be a BMP showcase park. There are several stormwater BMPs installed on site that, again, Ellen has provided educational signage for. Once that's installed and everything's been stabilized with their final COs, probably in September, we'll do an open house in partnership with Ellen, as well as Open Land Trust and the Beaufort County Passive Parks Program. So we look forward to having that open house and getting to really showcase that park. Have any of you guys seen it yet from Sea Island Parkway? Oh.
You're talking about right in the Ladies Island boat landing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's come along, and
Yeah,
it's great.
it looks really good.
Couple weeks.
If you go down and look at the bait pond, they did a great job with the shorescaping and stabilizing that. What used to be a very decrepit hole in the ground looks really beautiful and is functioning as a stormwater treatment system. So again, we'll be certain to invite you all to that open house once that comes to fruition. As far as statewide general permit updates, there are really none to provide. We do have a SCASM meeting, South Carolina Association of Stormwater Managers, September 3rd. I'm sorry, not September 3rd. September 1st. September 3rd is a Saturday. And maybe they will be there to present. If so, we'll be certainly happy to bring back any information that they provide. And as far as the staff update goes, we continue to hire and interview for open positions. We are working our way up for our infrastructure department to be back to fully staffed, which we're very thankful for. It sounds like from the superintendent, we're making a lot more progress than previous months to get projects up and running. And there is an open position within our stormwater regulatory department. We are hiring for a senior stormwater inspector. That was a part of the 2023 budget request, and that was approved. So again, we are currently have that vacancy within our own group. And I guess we're going into infrastructure updates. As you can see, really just 4 minor projects going on, mostly tree removals and just some minor ditch work. So, any questions on that? All right. I think that's it.
Okay, moving on. Ms. Howard, do you have anything from County Council you'd like for the board? No?
Nothing new.
Okay. All right.
I'm very proud of, I can't remember the last time this county has won an award at the South Carolina.
Yes, ma'am.
It's been at
21
least 10
years, I think. I think it's like 21 years ago.
It might have been, yeah. We put in the half run,
Yeah.
so.
Well, good, thank you. All right, is there any unfinished business? I think we're good. Any new business? Jonathan or Katie, do y'all have anything?
I think the only thing I may add to the special presentation is having Wilbur come in and present to you all the findings of the St. Helena drainage study. So we're meeting Friday with the zoning department. There were some recommendations that came out of that study that does involve their group. And so from there, we plan on presenting it to Mr. Glover because that's his district. And then from there, we should definitely be providing a report on that to you all to let you know what the findings of that study were. Overall, they were a lot more favorable than we were anticipating. But again, we will have a more formalized report provided to you all for your review as well. So I think that was the only other thing.
Were you thinking of that presentation at the meeting after our October meeting, the next meeting?
I may just ask them to present in October.
It's good. Well, you remember we're going to be at the Evergreen Pond. Is that fine?
I think it'd be okay.
Okay.
The only
Your
thing
call.
that they wouldn't be able to do is provide like a presentation. So I guess if their the preference is to have a formal presentation PowerPoint, then we can wait till December. But
Sure.
surely you don't want to wait to hold on to information as well. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, is there any public comment today? I see none. Do we have a motion to approve next meeting agenda, which will be October 19th at the Evergreen Pond?
For making a motion to approve that.
All right. Yeah. Second. All those in favor, say aye. Any nays? All right, we have a motion for adjournment.
I'll definitely make a motion for that.
Second. All right, all those in favor? Aye. All right, adjourned, 2:31.